Now that we have our WordPress installation completed, let's go over some of the features and options that WordPress offers. When you first log into WordPress, you're going to be on the dashboard. On this dashboard, you're going to have a lot of different options and widgets that are going to show up here, and you're able to organize them by dragging and dropping them. On the left-hand side, you're going to have this navigation menu with many different options, such as post, media, pages, comments, appearance, plugins, users, tools, and settings. When we visit our website, right, fluenceweb.com/CMS, because that's where we installed our WordPress installation, you notice that you'll have this very basic theme. Depending on when you install WordPress, you're going to come with a default theme. Every year they release a theme. This happens to be the 2020 theme. And you notice it's just very simple, but it's very powerful on the back end. The first thing we're going to go over is the media. We're going to go over post a little bit later on, but posts are pretty similar to pages, so we'll cover those together. In this media option, you have an option to upload all the media. Pictures, images, sounds, videos, any media you want to add to your website, you could control it all through here. Think of this as your images folder on your website. So you simply add new, select files, or you could drag and drop, and then gonna select a random image here. You select the image you want, and bam, it's uploaded. One of the really nice features about WordPress is that it has the alternate text built in here. So you could easily add an alternate description to all the images, and then it's going to follow it all around WordPress. Cool office space. Right, and you could give it a title. And it's going to automatically save. Go ahead and close that. So you notice we could continue adding more pictures. This is not the only place that we can add media. We could also add it directly from any page you're editing or any post. The next section you're going to have is pages. On your pages, you're going to come in with a couple different sample pages, but you can easily add a new page. For example, if we hit add new, it's going to take us to this add a new page option. I'm just going to go ahead and call this CMS test. And then we notice we have this block editor. Now the block editor was only recently introduced to WordPress, and they've made quite a bit of improvements, but there's a ton of different visual editors out there that are way better, but I think WordPress will eventually catch up and do really well with them. You could choose very different options, or blocks as they call them, paragraphs, headings. So we have a title sample, and then you could add, for example, let's say a paragraph. This is a sample paragraph. When you're creating a page or a post, you're going to have many different options on the right side. You could preview the page. So we have our page title, our H1, and our paragraph. Or you could publish the page. You also could change the permalink, the URL slug, the featured image if it's a post. You have many different page attributes depending on the theme or settings you're using. Let's go ahead and add a picture in here as well. Let me exit this. I'm gonna find that plus button. I'm gonna hit image. And I can either upload one, but since we already uploaded a picture through our media library, I'm gonna select media library. When I select the media library, again, I could upload a picture, or I could hit this other tab, media library, and select anything from my media. I'm gonna go ahead and drag this up here. So we have a H1 heading, a paragraph, and an image. When we're ready to publish, all we need to do is hit publish button. All right, we want it to be public and we want to publish immediately. And we can view the publish page. Now, we're going to be talking more about pages later. We also have the comments where we could manage the comments. So if you're running a blog or allowing commenting on your pages or posts, this is where they would be. Under the appearance section, we have themes, widgets, and menus. So if we go to themes, since all of our content is stored on the database, we can easily switch themes on WordPress without losing any of that content. Think of this as swapping out your CSS style sheet, right? So here we have the 2020 theme and it's active, and I can easily change it to the 2017 theme, right? Just by clicking activate. When I do that, if I go to my website and I hit refresh, you'll notice that now we have the 2020 theme. And if I go to this page I just created and refresh, it is now shown under the 2017 theme as well. So you notice all the styling gets brought over from that theme, but the content is still there. You can add many, many different themes to WordPress by going to the Add New button. And there's just an endless amounts of pre-made designs and themes that you can use for about almost every category in the world. You can also upload a custom theme or a theme that is not listed here. The next section we're going to discuss is going to be widgets. Widgets are mostly found throughout the website, either on the footer or the sidebar. So for example, if I scroll down, these archives and this meta stuff is a widget. On the blog sidebar, we also see widgets. On the footer, you notice we have archives, categories, and meta. So when we scroll down to our footer, this is our old page, archives, categories, and meta. So if I was to remove a widget, let's say I want to remove from my footer, I want to remove categories, delete, and I refresh my page, we no longer have categories. So if you ever see an area on your website, your WordPress website, that is not, you're not able to manage it through like the page itself, it's most likely a widget. Finally, one of the most powerful things I like about WordPress is the menus. Again, going back to that conversation we had about, always updating the menu and so many pages to update, and how would we deal with huge websites. This is where it could be done very, very simply. We're going to call this main menu. All right, so you could create one or many menus, and you simply start adding pages. So this is my CMS test page. I'm going to add it to the menu. I'm also going to add the sample page, and I'm also going to add a custom link to just my main domain. I'm going to call it old website. right? So I could just add to menu. Save the menu, and then you'll usually have a manage locations tabs, because if you have multiple menus, maybe you want to create a different menu for the footer, a different menu for the sidebar. So in this case, our top menu is going to be the main menu. Once we save that, if we refresh our home page, you'll notice that we have our menu that has been updated. So we have our test page, our sample page, and this will actually take me back to my main domain. Notice the order. I have CMS, sample, and Fluence Web. If I go back to edit the menu, let me fix this. Old website. I made a mistake there. If I fix it, so let's say I want to make my old website be first, you simply just drag and drop. Save it. Refresh. Now we have the old website first, CMS, and sample page. The same thing for indenting or submenus. You just simply indent the menu, hit save, refresh, and now we have a drop down under old website. Very, very flexible. Kind of put that back to 3 links. You also have plugins. The plugins is what makes WordPress extremely popular, because you're able to upload different options, different customizations, and just different software and integrate it right into your website that you might need, right? Such as calendars, event registrations, e-commerce, all kinds of plugins. There's a huge WordPress plugin library that covers a huge variety of stuff. To add a new plugin, you simply click Add New, and then you just search for the plugin you want. In this case, we're going to add a plugin that I've been using a lot lately, and it's called Disable Gutenberg. Too many typos today. Once I search for the plugin and you find it, and just like themes, you can also upload plugins that are not found through the WordPress directory. To install a plugin, you simply click Install Now. Once it is installed, it doesn't necessarily mean it's active yet. But to activate it, you just need to click Activate. Now, Disable Gutenberg disables the block editor. Since I haven't used the block editor much, and I'm still getting used to it, and it's still not where it needs to be, I install this plugin a lot. So now that I've installed this plugin, if we go back to Pages, and we go back to our CMS test page, you notice we get this. Right, this is the typical old WordPress layout that is not the block editor, and it's just your typical WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get, where you have a visual content editor where you could manage like your bold, italics, lists, and your headings. Right, we can make that an H1. Title sample, we'll leave that there. And this was a paragraph. All right, we could manage all this stuff. And then if you need to add some code, you could always go over to text and add some code. Let me go ahead and update that. you go to all your plugins list, you'll have your plugins where you can manage them, deactivate them, or add new ones. Lastly, under users, you have the user management for your WordPress site. Again, very useful for large websites where maybe you as a web developer is going to need access, full administrator access to the website. Maybe someone's working on blogs or articles, so you could easily create a new username and give them access to maybe just work on the blogs or the post, right? And you just go add new user, give them a username, email, and a password, and then you could give them a different user role. WordPress comes with default user roles, so they could be a subscriber, a contributor, author, editor, or a full administrator. Depending on how much access you want to give them, you could customize these accordingly. I'm going to go ahead and leave that page. I won't be adding any users right now. Under the settings, we have some global settings for our website. So let's say that you want to switch your site title. You would do it under general. You could switch your tagline. Your date format, time format, your writing, and your reading settings. Now, what really made WordPress extremely popular is that before it was just a blogging system, but then we were able to get away from the blogging and use it more as a web page builder. And a lot of it had to do with this reading option, right? So you have this option under your reading that says your homepage displays your latest post. Because if you were just blogging and writing articles, that's what you wanted it to do. You just wanted to display your latest post. But now you have the option to switch your homepage displays a static page, and you're able to select the static page. So for example, I'm going to select my CMS test page. So ideally you would select like your home page, and you could still have your blog and then put that on a different page, such as news or blog. So if I go refresh my website, I'm under preview. Let me go to my home page on my WordPress installation. Now my home page becomes my CMS test page. And there's quite a bit of options that we'll be covering in future videos. So for your assignment, I want you guys to just go ahead and, play around with it. You really can't break it, or at least I hope you don't. But go ahead and add some pages, play with the block editor, and play with the old editor as well. To disable the old editor and play with the block editor, all you need to do is go to plugins and disable Gutenberg. You just need to deactivate it. All right, so when you're editing a page, it's just the block editor is gonna come back, and it's actually pretty neat. Think of it as I'm gonna convert this to blocks. Think of this as I'm just gonna delete this. I forgot I changed it on my other editor. Think of this as a visual bootstrap, right? Where we could add blocks of content. So for example, we could hit the plus sign, go to columns, and add a 3-column layout. All right, so this looks very familiar. And on the first one, we could, again, add a heading, right? Hobby 1. On the second one, we could add another heading. and so on. You could keep adding stuff to each column, right? Images, tables, lists, item 1, item 2, and item 3. So again, nothing different than what we've already been doing. It's just more of a visual way to add content. Update. Refresh. And here we go. Hobby 1, Hobby 2, Hobby 3. And again, if we want to switch the theme, for right now, for our examples, when you're submitting assignments, make sure that you always stick to the default WordPress themes, such as 2019, 2020, or 2017. All right, so if we activate the 2019 theme and we refresh our content, you know, everything changes to that layout, that different style sheet, but the content is still there. So again, this is going to be a pretty open exercise. I'll have some specific things that you need to submit and take screenshots of, but go ahead and just get familiar, play with it, add pages, add a post. You know, we have this hello world post, sample post. Hello world, I installed WordPress today. Publish. We have a sample page, and under here you see we have our sample post. We could click on that, and then we have our hello WordPress I installed. Hello world, I installed WordPress today. If we hit this home button and we hit visit site, it'll always take you to your home page. And I think I'm going to go back to the 2017 theme. So for your assignment, let's go ahead and just make sure you play around with all these options. And I just need you to submit a screenshot with WordPress with a different theme. Again, a WordPress theme, 2017, 2016, or 2019. And then I want you to have a assigned menu with either different pages, and then a heading, a paragraph, and an image. Right, so if you take for example, if you were to take this screenshot right here, where I could see your domain name with the CMS path, your navigation, and some text and an image, you should be good.